People living around the Great Lakes are starting to wonder who pulled the plug. In the last few years, waterfront properties are all of a sudden becoming beachfront properties, and there's no more diving off of these docks. Lakes Huron and Michigan have been hit the hardest. 1987 marked the highest water levels on record, but a lot has happened since then. Today, levels in Lakes Huron and Michigan have dropped below the lowest ever recorded in 1965. That means water levels are now more than 1.5 meters below the 1987 levels, and they're forecast to go down another 2 to 3 centimeters in the next month alone. Joining me now to talk about this is Bob Duncanson, the Executive Director of the Georgian Bay Association. Welcome to the program. Good to have you here. Tell me something about why anybody should really care about this. Lakes go up and down all the time. It seems that, is this just an inconvenience for a lot of rich people in Georgian Bay that you represent?
No, Tom, this is a frightening continuation of a trend we've seen over the last 10 years where all of the Great Lakes are trending down, but the middle lakes, Michigan, Huron, which Georgian Bay is attached to, are at an all-time low, and it looks as though it's going to get lower before it gets better. The reason people should be worried about this, why Canadians should be worried about this, is that the economic well-being of Ontario largely hangs on the ability to get product to market, and that relies on shipping. Shipping relies on water.
Okay, and so this would also seem to indicate that those freighters themselves, with the water going down, can't carry as heavy a load as they could in the past, right?
Last summer, they were about a quarter off their maximum loads, and that was during the middle of the summer, and we know that waters have come down 20 inches more or less since the summer. So coming into next summer, they're going to be even less than a quarter empty.
How did this happen? Where did all the water go?
Well, it's a factor of two things. Nature. I mean, clearly nothing happens if nature doesn't smile on you. And we've had a very dry winter a year ago, a very dry summer, in fact, record droughts through the summer. So the middle lakes have been hit hard by nature. But when we created the St. Lawrence Seaway, we excavated the connecting channels between the lakes. And in the case of Lake Huron in Michigan, there was never any stop put in to allow those lakes to hold back water. There is a dam at St. Mary's that helps Superior. There is a dam just down river from Cornwall that helps Lake Ontario, but the middle lakes are at the whim of Mother Nature, and we, mankind, have dug out that connecting channel that empties those middle lakes that has cost us between 9 and 18 inches of permanent water loss, according to the engineers.
Let me read you something that was given to us very recently by Adam Sweet, who's a spokesman for the Environment Minister, Peter Kent, and this is in part what he wrote us. He said, "The low water levels we are seeing today are within the range of fluctuation that the lakes have experienced in the recent past." He seems to be suggesting here that there's really nothing out of the ordinary.
I don't know what chart he's looking at, but the charts I see, which come out weekly from the U.S. Corps of Engineers, shows you that Michigan, Huron are 1 inch below recorded history. That's not within the range of normal fluctuation. What we were pitching to the Canadian government is that we want the lakes to be returned to a healthy range of water levels. Back in '93, they spent tens of millions of dollars studying water levels in the Middle Lakes and came up with what they deemed to be a healthy range. And we're 14 inches below what they deemed at that time to be the crisis level at which action should be taken.
What do you do? Do you build a dam at the bottom of one of the lakes to prevent the water from leaving?
The St. Clair River is ground zero for the Middle Lakes. That's where we've done so much excavation, hardening of the shorelines. You've basically created a superhighway for water conveyance through that point. We think that that's where the engineers should be applying their smarts. Back in the 60s, when the last dredging took place, the two governments had a healthy discussion about putting sills in as a compensating measure. Nothing happened at that point. Back in the '93 study that I just referenced, they talked about the government's putting aside $50 million to throw rocks into that river to bring the water levels back up if they ever got to a crisis level, which is 14 inches higher than it is today, and then have money to take those rocks back out again when the water levels got back into a healthy range. those are fairly basic solutions. I think that there's got to be a more creative solution in this day and age. But hey, I'll take rocks if that's all they're going to give me.
How much time have we got left before this becomes irreparable in terms of its harm?
It's there. I mean, this summer, the shipping companies are going to be hurting badly. Their customers are going to be hurting badly. Every year that we let this go on unaddressed is going to cost this Canadian government.
Bob Duncanson, Executive Director of the Georgian Bay Association, thanks very much.
Okay.